week 3. Yeah. Katie, what happened is the second week when we chimed in and were ready to go on the call, nobody had done homework or
except Robin,
and checked in with their directors and stuff because of the holiday week.
Gotcha.
And so we decided to do a reset and allow to see if we got better results and more people. And the next week people had done their homework and we're ready for call number 2. So that's why we're not right on with the director bound courses being on that because they had.
Well, I listened to the recording about the cookware and the rock and stuff. That was phenomenal. I have never heard that before. That was so fantastic.
Okay, the homework part or something that was on the call?
The homework part, the 2 gals selling the cookware and
they're really good, and hopefully if people need to watch it more than once, they will, because that's how I learn, is by watching things more than once.
Yeah.
Some Hostess coaching stuff on the red stamp. Can we have that pulled up? I think we have. I'm sure. Barbara Duke references tonight some red stamp host coaching that she does. So I know what it is. Yes, there we go. I have this really bright light, an OT light over my desk. And so it does funny things when we're filming. So, okay. Are we on? Okay.
We're recording.
We are recording. Okay. So this class, just as a little recap, 6 weeks to success, week number 3. Hopefully you're growing your business the way that you want to grow your business. At the end of every week, there's homework. And this last homework was to watch the Abundant Bookings with Susan Warshay and Missy Elks from the Pampered Chef University. And then also just kind of share some of the ideas. And then comes the personal growth part. How many shows did you commit to doing this week is totally up to you. This is a business builder course where it's self-directed and, you're challenging yourself appropriately, I hope, and that you're working with your director maybe for a couple of stretch goals, but it is up to you the pace that you take with this course. I think you're going to find there's lots of good information, and they're breaking down the basics of the business. And, sometimes it's just nice to audit a class and see exactly what's expected and then come back with your own expectations of how you're going to challenge yourself. So I just wanted to kind of cover that. On the homework, hopefully you are setting up a follow-up call with your recruiter or your upper level or the person above them if you've done accountability calls before, so you have somebody new to learn from. And you should be asking yourselves, how many leads did I get? Outside of my shows, at my shows, did I, was I able to slam dunk the 2 bookings at each show? How many, maybes did you get? Were you able to get them on your calendar? Those kinds of evaluations that you're going through. How were your splits? I did a show Saturday night, and I'll be honest with you. I got 1 order that night. I have hopes that the show is going to go up. I did a great job. We stayed in touch with this lady. She moved her show once, and we still stayed in touch with her. And I had more children at the show than I had grown-ups. So it happens to everybody, and I just want to share that. Did you have any trouble with anything in particular? And then what is your brag of the week? So my brag of the week is that I got myself back doing farmers markets and did a show and then cleaned it all up afterwards. And I'm getting more and more organized. So maybe even Shay, we can unmute you just for a minute so you can share a brag. Katie, Robin.
You unmuted me?
I know. I'm gonna mute you back.
Rude.
Sorry.
My brag for the week. I got a show today. She is supposed to get back to me, but she hasn't yet on a date for next month. Hopefully it'll be my first cooking show in a long time at my new office.
All right. Awesome. Woo. Okay. I'm muting you back. Okay. Katie.
My brag of the week is continually to grow and keep on track and get back on track after being gone again. And I just want to share really quick that, man, I forgot what training it was on. I think it was the one I'm in with LEAD, where they talked about, yeah, it was with LEAD, where they talked about the power of one. And I think, you know, speaking from experience, whenever I just get one show and I get frustrated, you know, what you have to do is really track what the power of one is. So what a training is, or what they asked us to do, I'm going to take this off my wall, is to take your very next cooking show and write their name in a bubble. And then when you do that cooking show, you write down the bookings you got from that show, and then you keep tracking it. You track it all the way through December. So those shows you got from that, along with the shows you got from that, when you get recruits from that, and then by the end of November, you could really easily see how one party could make all the difference in your business.
Right. And we did cover, and honestly, because I'm doing the 2 calls simultaneously, I'm hoping Robin can set me straight, but last week, did I cover the 2 bookings from every show and what happens with the math, or did I do that in the Director Bound course?
I believe you did.
Okay, I think it was this this course, and that's really the power of 2. You know, where can you go from there? But I think sometimes we lose sight of, you know, the one recruit that we get that signs somebody else up, who signs somebody else up. And we just think, oh, well, that recruit that I signed up didn't do anything. But then she can bring you future business. Sometimes she gives you show leads. I guess maybe that was really my brag of the week, is I had a consultant re-sign up with me. And I always give myself a little vote of confidence when they come back and they re-sign with me. So I guess that was really my big brag of the week. Robin, how about you?
My big brag of the week is going to be, I was able to get my sister-in-law to order from a show that I've got going on right now.
Okay.
Even though she found out she's type 1 diabetic, she still wanted to order a few things that she knows she needs.
Type 1 diabetic. Boy, that's unusual to get diagnosed in adult.
Yeah, she lost weight unexpectedly and didn't know what was going on. So she upwards lost like 50 pounds like that.
Wow.
Her doctor thought she was type 2, and then specialist said, nope, you're type 1. Okay.
All right. Wow. Yeah, we have some of that going on too with one of my friend's daughters, you know, and she was helping, she was doing farmers markets and everything, and then she got diagnosed with type 2, and, you know, she's just trying to get it all figured out, and I think there is an adjustment period. So, all right, now I am on to, especially for Robin and Katie, I just want to congratulate and thank you for being consistently on the calls. We do have quite a few people who are watching the calls, but they're not making the time frame. So the next time we'll try another night at a different time. But we will be continuing to do this. We might be doing them during the day, or we might also do a speed workshop where we give prizes for the people who watch them independently and whoever gets through them the fastest with results. Okay, so we might just put the videos up as well. Okay, so let's do a recap so far of what we've learned since we've finished a third of the training material and we're about to hit the halfway point. Hopefully your product knowledge has increased, just like Katie was talking about, knowing the difference between cookware and the rock crocs, things like that. That really is product knowledge. And there's really no excuse anymore for us not being able to get to product knowledge at our fingertips, with Pampered Chef doing a wonderful job with PCU and so many consultants hosting things as well. And that's all. Product knowledge helps us maximize our sales and maximize our bookings. Of course, we want to be lighthearted and fun at our shows, but we also want to have lots of great information. Years ago, I was told that what we want to have is edutainment, art education, and a whole lot of entertainment. So edutainment. So that's really kind of where we're at with product knowledge. And then we were working on our beliefs, you know, and we have gone through the pillar of belief. And, you know, I just know we're with the right company, with great products, great theme shows. I love the one pot concept, one vessel meals, basically. But also, maybe we're stretching ourselves and believing in ourselves, doing the work that we need to do if we have any insecurities, and, you know, not accepting that you can't teach an old dog a new trick, but that you can retrain your brain if you want to. Then, you know, we talked about prospecting out and about and how to book parties at our shows, and the difference between doing prospecting at our shows and outside of the shows, and wearing logo gear and being prepared with catalogs and business cards and our phone, and just, you know, we're just ready to go. Oops, sorry, I gotta go back. I have a touch screen on top of the mouse, so that's be scary. Sometimes Dana's helping me and she touches the screen and I'm touching things and we've got a mess. Okay, so last week we really kind of talked about our passion shining through, and that pillar that we have with passion and how important that is. Katie and I were talking yesterday about just the fun factor, making our shows fun, making our business, not taking everything so seriously, and just loving our businesses so it'll love us back. So, and that's going to help other people have a good time. So today we're really going to focus on having bigger shows, which means a bigger paycheck, you know, and the big key to this is host coaching. And I didn't know that they were going to have this in today's call, but I think I mentioned it last week as well. Host coaching is where you earn your paycheck, and at your show is where you pick it up, you know. And I love Barbara Duke's little graphics here. Keep calm and work smarter, not harder. And so we can go do 3 shows that aren't very well coached, or we can go do 1 show that's beautifully coached and get much better results. So we just have to realize that it's time well spent. So how do I coach my hostesses effectively? Especially when I start hearing people say, well, I can't get my hostess to answer the phone, or nobody answers the phone these days. You know, what do we do? And our cute little puppets are going, I don't know either. So we're going to start with some effective hostess coaching themes right here. And one of the very first things that I do is when somebody wants to have a show with me, I ask them, will it be okay for us to talk on the phone with each other at least 3 times? Can we talk for 5 minutes, 3 different times? I'm going to do most of your host coaching and helping you have a great show by email and text and by sending you things and Facebook posts, but it's crucial that we talk on the phone 3 times. Will you pick up the phone and answer me 3 times? I can text you ahead of time and we'll make sure that it's a good time. Would you do that for me? And they say yes. Okay. So I have now started asking them permission. I learned this from Cynthia Nurse, and it was something that really changed my my feelings that people weren't going to dodge me anymore. And they really do. I text them and say, hey, do you have time for a call? And they tell me yes or no. And because I've already asked them the permission that they're going to answer my phone calls, they answer my phone calls. So hopefully that'll be your biggest tip of the night, because it really works. You know, at the start of the party, you know, we want to ask people who want to have a show if they could just stay a few minutes afterwards so that you can give them their host packet. Really, you want to start coaching right here at the show. I figured out that if I carry hostess packets with me, it saves me approximately $7. If you're mailing a hostess packet, it costs you around $7 these days. The cheapest I've found is $5. The most expensive is right around $7. So, and a lot of people go, well, I'll just drop it off. Well, what does your time cost you? You know, is it really on your way someplace? Otherwise, it's costing you gas and it's costing you your time. And if you can be on the phone booking another show or doing your host coaching and making money, then you are going to save yourself a lot of money if you carry your hostess packets at your shows. And I like to have 3 to 4 hostess packets with me. And I can change the monthly specials. I use reusable host packets where I try to get several times a year the nice plastic the folders. Anna's going to get one out here and hand it to me right there. Robin, yes, Robin's right there. And I get these back. So the reason why I like these is because if I put them in an envelope and mail them, guess where I find the hostess packet when I get to the show? In the envelope. If I hand them out the night of the show and I say, oh, I do a magazine style host planner, you're going to be able to thumb through this and get all the information, and you're going to want to keep referring to it because this is going to tell you how to have a great show. So I get these back.
Do you have PDFs of everything that you include in that?
It's on All Stars.
Okay.
And so, like my host letter and everything. And honestly, when I left Connie's, I had this thinking I should just leave my hostess packet that I brought with me. But I didn't. I took it home. And before I even got home, I was getting texts and emails saying, could you share what was in your hostess packet? Even though I told them it was up on All Stars, they wanted more information. So I sent one back to Connie. So Robin, she actually has it with her, and I'm happy to send it to my directors as well. I just find that these are very functional and that they work. And I change them from time to time. But
you said you get those back from your host at the end of her show?
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, like, I don't even ask. I tell them that they're recyclable hostess packets. I go over there, I take out what I think they're going to need, and I take it back with me that night. So anyhow, that works for me. Even if I leave host packets, even if I have a season change and I don't have the newest catalogs, I'll still leave a Hostess packet with at least one catalog, even if it's old, and then mail them just the catalogs. So to do an update, because I want to get their packet in their hand and I want to get them signed up online, because that's what makes them feel like they're having a show. And they can get started right away while they're still excited. Another thing that you want to do is you want to let your hostess know that 3 of the catalogs are for her to share, and 1 catalog is for her to mark up and make her wish list directly in the catalog. Have a black Sharpie, you know, put Hostess on it, don't give away, because once they start making their wish list, again, they're doing the show for them and not just you. Barbara Duke is going to share her reminder postcard. Robin and Katie, you have our little, you know, save the date postcard, but Shay, if you want, we can send you a few of these, just the save the date ones that we made based on something that Katie shared. Maybe you have them from her group or whatever. But Barbara Duke, I don't want to go 2 screens ahead to show you just yet. Can you hand me our save the date postcard? And I think these are really important. And one of the ways that I've used them is I have also put a question mark if they haven't scheduled their show yet.
Yeah.
Write on Sharpie and then mail it to them and say, I'd love to get your date on my on our calendars. Okay, Robin's got hers right there. Perfect. So I think these are starting to be very, very effective.
Those are the ones Katie created?
Yes. Yeah, we kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if she sent me one. I think she did, but I know I've seen it.
Okay, we will put some in the mail for you, Shay. Anyhow, so I gave a packet of these, the postcards and stuff to Beth Jacobs and Barbara Duke. I feel like I have the most supportive upline in the whole company. And so anytime we do something fun, I like to give it to Barbara Duke. So I think she changed her whole little thing right here and started doing their own save the dates. So, okay. And the 40 invitation thing. I tell people typically if they send out and then they invite 40 invitations, that people are getting numb to Facebook. So, you know, if they'll get me their invitation list, I'll mail out invitations and I'll put the little mini catalogs in the mail for them. But if we invite 40 people, we're likely to have 15 to 18 people say yes and 12 to 15 show up. And we're more likely to get outside orders. And this is where you get that $1,000 show. And then also you're going to send her the 3 host coaching letters. And these are something that are online and they're tied to recipes. So people are really going to enjoy getting them from you. And they're not necessarily the recipes you're doing at their shows. But I think Barbara Duke has turned those into a red stamp file. So instead of just having to mail them, she can just send them to them by red stamp. Okay, so here is Barbara Duke's save the date. Your Pampered Chef party's right around the corner. Save the date and the time. I'm excited about your party. Here's your tips. Very, very, very similar to ours, okay? And then she shares the Vista print so that everybody can have their own made. And we can put that up as part of the homework so that anybody who is listening to this call later, they can do that too if they didn't join us from a conference and get theirs for free from me. Okay, the next thing is all about communication. Your hostess, the biggest complaints that hostesses will tell home office when they're surveyed is that they didn't know how to have a show and that they didn't know what to do next. And so if you're not telling them how to have a great show and you're not telling them what to do, then if the show cancels, it's probably your fault. I have had the rare occasion where I have talked myself blue in the face and I knew that they weren't getting it or doing it. And even later, I mean, I've even had somebody tell me to my face, well, I didn't even have your phone number. And Dana will tell you, my phone number and my labels are on every single email, text, written correspondence, host packet, back of a catalog, in their phone because I'm calling them. And that's when I knew that you just can't help everybody. You know, you just can't. But we can take responsibility for what we do and don't do. And we can also acknowledge that rare percentage of a time where for some reason we're just not connecting with the host. Okay, so host coaching. This is all about your comfort zone. You know, you want to develop a good host coaching system. And we don't want to have mediocre shows. We want to have a fantastic show. And we have to be clear and concise with our hostess. And this is, you know, again, it's not my comfort zone to tell people that if they don't have $1,000 show or the formula for it, I'm not going to come. I know that there are some people in the company who just tell people, you need to have 20 people coming to the show or we're going to turn it into a catalog show. I've seen it. That's not how I run my business. But we do have to be clear and concise. But what we're trying to do with hostess coaching is we're hostess helping. We are helping her meet her goals and have a fantastic show and have her guests feel very, very comfortable and have a good time that you're at the show. So who would rather have a $1,000 party instead of a $300 party? Me? Katie? Robin? We'll just assume Shay's raising her hand. One you're going to make $60 at, the other you're going to make $220 at. So I would rather do the $1,000 show. Sometimes people, I know why I wrote comfort zone down too, is sometimes people get a little nervous when they're bigger parties. They feel like they're catering, there's more to do, they're worried about the food, they're worried about talking in front of that many people. And you know, the good thing is that you usually work your way up to those bigger shows. And again, if you're doing station style shows, they're not looking at you. And you know, I hope that I can give you the most comforting thing is that at a show, somebody will go, well, I went to a party and the girl, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, what's her name? Well, I don't know. Well, what's she look like? I think she had dark hair. Can you tell me anything else about her? No. So after the years, I figured out they're not really looking at me. And so if you're somebody that gets a little shy, just remember they're not really looking at you, you know, and maybe you could just, you know, relax and stuff. And it really is fun to have a big show. Sometimes it's harder to have a show with 2 or 3 people than it is to have a show with 20 people. So here's a little story. It says, okay, if you were blindfolded, could you make a basket from the foul line? I know I couldn't. I can barely make a basket every 1 out of 10 times if I'm not blindfolded. You know, I was a great center at basketball, but I wasn't necessarily the best shooter. So they're saying that Shaq could probably do this, and he's been practicing probably 6 to 7 hours a day for a long, long time. And most of us don't have that kind of dedication. It's not impossible, but it could happen. And I think Shaq could probably do it a lot more consistently than I could. So what would happen if he took the ball out of your hands? More likely, the basket would probably more likely to get made, right? And so what they're doing is saying that if you really help your hostess and you're sending out her invitations and you're telling her what she needs to do, that you're more likely to have a successful show because you're eliminating the inexperienced person and you're putting the expert in place. So they also kind of gave us some stats on Shaq. He's 7'1" tall, and the goal is only 10 feet tall. So he's definitely using his God-given talents and God-given body to help him there. So you can also become the expert and you can practice and you can really, really help your hostess slam dunk her show. Really can help her slam dunk her show. So here's a little bit of information on what we must do step by step to help our hostesses have a good show. The first one is we're going to have to communicate often, and sometimes I'm making excuses to stay in contact with my host. If I can just say, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that it uses Southwestern rub seasoning, and I'm going to bring that. And just like a quick little thing, I don't want you to stress at the market because that's not something you have to buy. That's something I'm going to bring. Just if there's little things that you can work with your hostess in a very helpful way. You know, so another thing is I want to send my hostess lots of recipes and lots of those ideas. So I'm careful not to pick the recipes too soon because that's going to take away some of my very helpful forms of communication that are a soft sell with my hostess. My hostesses usually like me to send them recipes. So, okay. All right. So that's one of the ways that and I'm not calling them and saying, how many people do you have coming? How many people do you have coming? How many people do you have coming? I'm very soft selling and trying to be helpful when I call them. One of the contacts can be, could you add me as a Facebook friend? There's not very many Dina Hilt brands, and like my next hostess is Natalie Chavez, and believe it or not, there's a lot of Natalie Chavez's on Facebook. So I asked them to do a friend request to me. So that's just another little way that I stay in contact with them. Just instead of doing it all at one time, do it in small doses. And then you are building that relationship with your hostess. If you have time to set up a Facebook event, and you can start doing posts, even if you're posting daily or you're using Post My Party or Sync Share. This again is where the more online parties you have, the more efficient you become. And yes, each party is going to be a certain amount of work, but hostess coaching 3 hostesses on one night is way more effective with your time than doing 1 a month for 3 months. Okay, so there's many printable invitations under the tab that is on Pampered Chef's host coaching area. You're going to find that there are some printable invitations. Again, you can make invitations using Red Stamp and forward them via email, text, or Facebook. And so it's just like like PicMonkey or just the little software programs. And I think you're going to find that a lot of people have already made these and are happy to share with them. And this is a very inexpensive way to run your business. If you're buying postcards and having to mail them and stuff, you're going to spend way more money than if you send your host the invitations and she prints them or she emails and texts people. Again, remember, people are going to want to be invited more than one night. Okay, so there is, again.
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
You're breaking up. I don't know if anybody else is having problems, but I am.
Okay. All right. I wanted.
I thought it was my computer, but it must be hers then if you're having the same problem. Yeah, it's got the same thing.
I'm hearing clearly. Hang on. Let's mute me.
Jay's breaking up too. I know she's talking, but she's breaking up too.
Aww.
Okay, I muted myself and the noise is still there. Okay. All right. Shake your head if you can hear me and there's no noise. Okay. All right. I just muted all of you except for me. Okay. So sorry about that. We'll just keep adding one person back until we that next. Okay.
You're still cutting out really bad for me.
All right. Robin, can you hear? I think we're good. I think it might be Katie. All right. So 40 equals 20 equals 15 plus 10. This is the formula for $1,000 show. And so it's 40 invitations equals 20 people responding that they're going to come, 15 orders at the show, and collecting 10 more outside orders. Okay. And that is what is going to give you a $1,000 party. And there's a formula and you can teach it to your hostesses. The next thing that you can do to help your hostess is pick a theme. A theme is much easier for the hostess to explain to her guests. We're going to have a Mexican madness night with lots of fabulous recipes, or we're going to do a Jimmy Buffett night with margaritas and the cheeseburger taco ring, the cheeseburger ring. Anyhow, if we just give them a theme, the hostess is able to advertise it very a lot easier than trying to explain exactly what you're going to make. Another thing is that they're encouraging you to take pictures of the recipe that you're going to make and post it on Facebook to her and her friends, or for her to send around by text. Again, you can do a reminder on Red Stamp. I have a text reminder that I use that says that they can order replacement parts on their order, that I'm going to bring the sharpener with me for them to sharpen their scissors and their metal coated knives and the honing tool, and that if they have a dull food chopper or a manual food processor, they're going to be able to sharpen it that night. I just try to give them some information and I send that out as a text, and we can post that with the homework too, the actual verbiage that I use to remind my hostess, to remind everybody to come to the show. If you give them extra information that they haven't gotten, it makes it easier for the hostess to do the reminder calls and to get the firm RSVPs. And then also encourage people by the Facebook that the show is about to come, and then when you're going to close out the show. That has changed a little bit because I do direct ship, but you know, it works for me. Okay, so here we go. Under My Shows tab, Show Planning Material, here is the Hostess Coaching Letter number 1. And not only are you going to try to go over on the phone with the hostess, but you're going to be mailing it to her. And why is she going to look at it? Because it has a recipe on it. And she's going to look at it. You have a place on the side here for you to put your information, and you can highlight things like encourage your guests to bring a friend, even those who may not be familiar with the Pampered Chef. A lot of times if you give your hostess some extra invitations that are all filled out, those people who really want to invite some guests can hand them an invitation, and the people are more likely to come if they are invited with a postcard. Host coaching letter number 2 is also under this tab. Your party is coming up soon. I'm so excited to get together with you and your friends for a fun, relaxing gathering during this busy season. A lot of times people are using the word gathering now instead of party or show. It's more inviting. And so that might be something that you can start using in your verbiage to advertise having an event or a gathering at their home or their business. Since you're planning and putting together your guest lists and everything else on top of the to-do list too, I wanted to share this easy, delicious recipe that can help you get your dinner on the table quick. And then it advertises the one-pot sausage and kale pasta, which is really yummy. And I think the kale in here tastes like spinach, and it's delicious. So if you want more ideas for fast, fabulous dinners, feel free to contact me. And of course, you can send them more of the one-pot meals. So this is just another way to stay in touch with your hostess. And the third and final hostess coaching letter says, your upcoming party is going to change your kitchen's life. Think of all those terrific Pamper Chef products you'll be earning for free, half price, and at a discount. With all of your new products, you will be whipping up meals and treats in your family that your family and friends will love. I'll show you and your friends some ideas and techniques that will help make food prep fast, easy, and economical. It's been so sweet working with you. I wanted to share you this dessert recipe. Again, these are very helpful, informative, and about them. And they have beautiful food to go with them. And I think you'll find that it helps building that relationship with your hostess that much easier. Okay, so here are the tough questions. Here's the evaluation and the tough questions. Did you get your packet in the mail? Do you have the information? You want to ask the hostess these things. You know, did I give it to you that night? Did you get it in the mail? Do I have all your information correct on the information? Sometimes I have an email wrong. People have a way of writing their emails really, really fast, and sometimes they are not legible. And so you want to check, and these are little questions that you can ask them. How many invitations were you able to hand out? We're getting to that. Katie, that's actually part of the slide presentation. We're gonna be getting to that. So, and these questions are coming from a little form that Katie held up, but you can go through these. But it's really important to ask, what are you most excited to get for free? Again, you want your hostess doing it for her, and sometimes she has to be reminded what it was that she wanted. Okay, so the most important thing is to just remember to stay in touch often with your host. This keeps her on track and ensures that you are going to have a great party. You'll love seeing all the yeses on Facebook of people that are coming. And if you aren't seeing any of them, you'll definitely want to be back in touch with your hostess. You should be able to be following that. Okay, so here's the secret weapon, and it's the videos. And you've read this correctly. It is the videos. Just like Katie was learning from two gals on product knowledge, you are going to learn from the best hostess coaches in the company. And so that's part of our homework. It's really going to help you. But what they're asking you to do is try making your own host coaching videos. And so if they can't get you on the phone, but you can send them the video and you can say, hey, I videotaped myself doing my September host coaching, and you send it to all of your September hostesses, that's going to help your hostesses have a great show. So, and then how are you going to track everything and keep on track? This is a really good question. And here's what Katie and I do right here. The host information and checklist. Love, love, love this. As soon as somebody says they're going to have a show with me, I fill this out. And then I put it in my book. And I tell you, it's about time that I go through. Oops. Okay. At least it went back the other direction instead of this, you know. And Katie's showing you her binder. My binder, you know, it weighs a ton and it's on my desk. And here are all of those questions. I love the little outline that we had tonight, and I can send that to you because here it's just kind of bullet points, and if what you need is the words that make it about the hostess, I think those questions were really kind of phrased so that they were very warm and fuzzy and made it about the hostess and working with the hostess. Okay, so this is also, it's double-sided, and it's a great way to track your expenses and all the things that you did with your show. So host coaching is a partnership, you know, and we want our hostesses to partner with us. That's where we're going to find the majority of our great consultants too, as we've already started working with them, and we know who goes for it and who doesn't go for it. It's really about, relationships and happy hostesses. And when hostesses are getting lots of free products and loving the whole experience and feeling very, very confident, I also have heard hostesses tell me, I've never done this before. And as soon as I hear I've never done this before, I know that she's going to really want me to partnership closely with her. So today's thing was all about skill, learning the skill of host coaching. Belief was the first week, great products, believing that you can do this, feeling confident. Last week we talked about the one-pot meals and bookings. And really, I think that that's when you get excited or re-excited, is when you find something you think are going to really change the way people's lives are, and that's the passion. Tonight was definitely skill. There is a skill to host coaching and a system for tracking it. And next week we'll be working a little bit on will. Out of all of the pillars, skill is the most definable or the easiest because you can take command of that. You can play with your tools. You can watch videos. You can re-watch videos. You're the one who knows your own learning style. Do you have to take notes? Do you have to write it down? Do you make yourself note cards? Do you practice with those products? Do you practice with the friends? Are you always studying? Do you take time when the new catalog comes out and go through it and figure out where things are located? I love, love, love the new index in the back where it has the little thumbnails. And to me, this was a big duh. How come we didn't do this earlier? Because especially if I'm trying to help somebody find something at a show and it even has the page number, or it shows you which sections things are in. It's in there a couple of different ways. So definitely take time to learn your catalog. Carry mini catalogs with you if you're not carrying big catalogs. Go tuck some in your car. You know, even if you've got an old catalog, sometimes it's better to give somebody an old catalog because then you have the reason to get their address and get them a new catalog. But at least you can put something in their hands right then and there. Be watching and listening to home office and your director's trainings. If you can watch those director's trainings, go to your director meetings, or if your director's doing Zoom trainings or Facebook Live, watch those. If you are a director, Katie, I know you're watching the company's director's trainings that they do for us. Attend meetings, recipe nights, go to conference, read books. If you know that you want to work on your own confidence, or for me, organization, definitely doing podcasts on those particular subjects. Do more parties, practice, go to other people's shows, watch YouTube videos. Skills are easily taught and easily caught. You can do this. Okay, so then we have homework. We talked a little bit about it, that you are going to be doing hostess coaching with Lisa Nato, Michelle Yoakley. So there's 2 of them. And make sure you have at least 5 takeaways. And then the questions that you ask yourself. These are the tough questions that you decide. How many bookings do you want to get this week? How many host coaching calls are you committed to this week? Are you going to practice? You know, how many leads do you get? This is a self-paced course, but these are the things that help people grow. And I just want to thank you guys for attending. It's really up to you. The ball is in your court, and you can help your hostess have a fantastic show. Are there any questions? I'm going to unmute everybody. Unmute. No. Mute. Okay. I think you guys, Shay, I think you're still unmuted, but it's on your end. Okay. Any questions? Any ahas?
I don't have any questions.
Yeah. Does everybody use that checklist and information form from the company for their host coaching?
I have it printed out, but I haven't used it.
Okay. Okay, we posted it again, the link, you know. And maybe you don't want to do every single part of it, but if you just go through and highlight what you like to do and then photocopy your own form over again, you know, then you'll make sure. I know somebody who actually gives a copy of that to the hostess and puts it in her hostess packet, because then she's accountable to the hostess to cover everything that is on that form, because the hostess knows what she's supposed to be covering. So, all right, well, thanks for being on the call, and we will click in again next week for week number 4 and celebrate that we are at the halfway point. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.